यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य
ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्म विद्या संप्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो वंशऋषभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः सर्वोपप्लवरहित प्रज्ञान घन प्रत्यगर्थो ब्रह्माहमस्मि सोहमस्मि ब्रह्माहमस्मि। ओम प्रपन्न पारिजाताय तोत्र वेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। May the Almighty Shri Lord Venkateshwara bestow all kinds of prosperity, health, wealth and eternal happiness with Paripurna Lakshmi Katakshams to you and the entire your family members and friends. Let us begin Bhagavad Gita. So we are just undergoing the summary session of 11th chapter. In the last session we from verse number 15 onwards up to 22nd verse, so Arjuna could see and experience the Saumya Bhava, the Saumya Darshana of Lord's Vishwarupa Darshana. See, now Vishwarupa means, as we have seen, the world should be accepted as Ishvara. It needs lots of maturity in our mind. So Arjuna was given a temporary Divya Drishti, the matured mind which was not trained. So when the mind is not trained in such a way, so the mind won't get the eligibility to accept any fact. So now when I study about this chapter, there's one thing I would like to mention in our life. Have we thought, or have we been trained to accept all the factors of the life? I cannot say. So you can also cannot say that yes we have. So you will also will accept yes we are not. Because still now from the birth, anybody have they come to you and told how to accept anybody's death? Death is a phenomenon which cannot be removed from anyone of life. Everybody, we have to undergo the maranam. But still when we talk about this death, people say don't talk about it. When you see any death, it happens to with a place where you live, somebody dies, immediately your mode goes off. Then what we have habitually doing, we want to shift that mode towards some other entertainment things. We want to come out of it. It seems to be that we are still not trained our mind how to face the death, which is the real factor of the life. And we are thrilled, or we are endowed with some kind of suspense, curiosity and thrill and lots of fear loaded with regarding the death. But Shastra says death is painless. So death is Mangalam. But still we don't know how to accept. And we also don't know how to manage pregnancy. Now there are so many trainings are going on how to expect or face a pregnancy from the standpoint of married people and from the standpoint of husband, what the play means, the role play to be done by the husband, and what the role to be played from the side of family members when somebody is pregnancy. So they have to be taken care of. So the total family has to act accordingly the norms of pregnancy which is prescribed by hospitals, means doctors nowadays. Now they have found all the incidents, accidents, the experience, the emotions, things are will affect the baby. But Shastra has told long back, means thousands of years back itself. There is one Upanishad known, Garbhopanishad. That Garbhopanishad talks about every single day what happens with the baby which has started growing in the stomach. That fetus, when the consciousness enters into that. There are so many contradictions afterwards, that Upanishad. But still that Upanishad, it talks very clearly about it. So when Karmapala, everything is Karmapala, So when the consciousness, after born, we still continued with a kind of different state, isn't it? So we are, it takes 2 months to see, to fix the eyes in one place. I suppose 2 months, the minimum at least 1 month it requires to see at one place. It means what? We began our life without the understanding of the sense organs. So before, but the one sense organ, the hearing sense, touching sense, if you put a sugar into the mouth of baby, that baby enjoys it, and the different sounds, and it takes time, This Garbhopanishad explains very well why it is not taught to the people. So everyone, we should be aware, male or female doesn't matter. We have to be aware how to face a birth. So facing birth, Swamiji, we face birth happily, we celebrate by distributing the chocolate and all. But still, my dear, you don't know how to face the situation when she is in the hospital in America. So the husband also should be have to be with her to see what goes during that period of time. Happily we suffer when somebody, gets the delivery. During that delivery, happily he suffers, though the suffering is so painful. The suffering is painful more than the death suffering. But still we are trained, because we are endowed with the expectations with the baby. We will play with the baby and we will fix this name and that dress, and baby is going to sleep in this place. We select place, clothes and schools and names. And we also select, even people will select the groom and bride for the girl or boy. So that much we are involved with the expectations, so that we are happily suffer. It means what? We have trained our mind with lots of expectations, but we are not prepared for death. Why anybody is not talking about it? So when we speak, people say, don't talk this dry Vedanta things. We don't want to. Are you not considering life after death? Is there a life after death? We need not to think, we will think it later on. That later on never comes. Death comes before. So by God's grace, every one of us should cross 100. That's what our blessings and prayer is. That 100 years should be lived with clarity, not lived with like a victim. So any factor that affects our life, we have to see and we have to learn how to face it with wisdom. So you should be wise enough to face any situation in your life. You don't know how to react with natural disaster. We are trying to prevent the natural disasters, but which goes out of our control. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan Krishna is not a teacher, one who teaches only nice part of the universe. No. When you want to learn about Ishvara, Ishvara is everything good and bad and beauty and ugly and tragedy and beauty. So the fact of the other side of Bhagavan is terrifying Arjuna. So Arjuna was not able to tolerate. From the verse number 23 up to verse number 35, I suppose. So all Bhayankara Rupa, when he saw his mouth, so that mouth, it symbolizes the Kala principle. Then he expressed the Rupam Mahatte Bahuvaktra Netram Mahabaho Bahupahurpadam Bahudaram Bahudam Strakaralam Drashtva Lokah Pravyate Thastathaham. So by seeing your mouth, the mouth with teeth coming out, protruding teeth, it's, usually it is shown in our serials with the demons, but you look like that. I'm not able to understand. So when I was teaching these words, I said, in South India, Lord Shiva always with Saumya Rupa, with a smiling face. And if you go to North, the Lord Shiva with a serious face and also with 6 packs or 8 packs. Lord Shiva means strength. Lord Shiva means force. In South India, Lord Shiva means, peace. But Lord Mahavishnu in all the place same, I don't know why, people. And Lord Mahavishnu also, it's taken in different way. Yeah, because, many people only they love Radhe Krishna. Some people love only Gokula Krishna. Some people love Bhagavad Gita Krishna. I think very minimum amount of people, numbers of people will love only Bhagavad Gita Krishna because he is very matured, seems to be very wise enough to explain all the philosophies. So like, Bhagavan is being understood in Saumya Bhava, the desirable form. So Ishvara means he should appear as the desirable form. That mind is not trained because though he had the Divya Drishti, he received the Divya Drishti from Bhagavan, but the mind was not prepared enough. So temporary, it's like artificial power. Any artificial is problematic. So artificially, if you bring something, it won't help for lifelong. The untrained mind becomes, trouble for Arjuna. Therefore, the second phase of response we could see from Arjuna, his mind, it loses the control. It starts trembles because all these Bhishma, Drona, etc. people, they were entering into his mouth. So therefore he was struck. Now, because of his ahankara and mamakara, he had a hatred with Duryodhana, etc. people, but he had attachment with the Bhishma, etc. people. Now attachment and hatred. So likes and dislikes both together makes him to not accept, is not able to accept because of his raga dvesha, which is constructed by ahankara, mamakara. Still his mind is victimized by ahankara and mamakara. Therefore he was not able to understand. Because all people, there is no choice at all. All people were entering to the mouth of Lord Krishna. Now he became so terrified, he was not able to withstand with that darshana. Again and again mind goes there. Therefore, any tragedy which takes place in your life, you may see the changes, after a tragedy of your life. Now, the life after tragedy, entirely it gets a different transformation. Any happy experience won't bring that much effective transformation, but a tragedy. One time, if you undergo the experience of tragedy in your life, so your life becomes with different changes. Means that entirely, it's I can say drastic change will take place in your life. In your psychological system also, you will become more conscious about that special aspects of the life. If you are getting emotional problem with somebody, maybe why we take ourselves, we will fix somebody else, a person who gets a kind of misunderstanding with her own or his own spouse or lover or brothers and sisters. So it becomes a great problem in his life, because life, it ends with, this is also kind of tragedy alone, because breakup with somebody is also, it's a tragedy. It's more dangerous than the physical tragedy. The man or woman, they become so frustrated, stressed. Some people commit suicide. So some people, they go and hide themselves with liquor, alcohol. Some people go and start smoking. And some people become mad, like people, they become so violent people later on. That's what, a tragedy. We have to train ourselves with the wisdom of Shastra. The Shastra will prepare us not to Now to go a long ways, it will prepare how to use our free will. You should know how to face it, and you should know what to do during that tragedy when it takes place. And also we should know that's not away from Ishvara's anugraha. That's what Arjuna was not able to withstand. And especially in one shloka he says, who are you? So what are you? Why you are here? He forgot it was Krishna, and he forgot that where he was and what was going on entirely. The mind totally it loses its control and the normality. He starts asking who you are, what you are. It seems to be so bhayankara rupa, and you seems to be enjoying by eating all these people. Lelihyate grasamana samantat lokan samagran vadanai jvaladbihi. It seems to be as though you are enjoying by biting, eating, swallowing, drinking the blood of the people. You seems to be so enjoying. Who are you? That's the time Kala principle. Not knowing the fact, then Bhagavan gives the answer. Kalosmi loka Kshayakrit pravriddhaha. I am the time principle. Now I have begun my feast. Feast means what? I have begun my operation. All these people have been already eaten by me. You are going to be just instrument, Arjuna. The fact is that here. So you become instrument. We are nothing but instrument, because when the world is become only Lord, when you are able to accept everything is Lord, why can't you accept all the tragedies and all kinds of terrifying incident or accident also is nothing but Bhagavan. Now you are free will, you cannot change it, you cannot select anything else. But you can surrender by using your free will that you are everything. I surrender to you. That surrendering ego, surrendering mamakara is the only thing by understanding. Therefore, nimitta matram bhava sabya sachin. It's a very great upadesha by Lord. These people who are you attached with, all of them have been eaten by me. Now there is one action is required from your side. Shoot the arrow, that's all finished. Because already they have gone. It means what? So when Bhagavan launches his creation, he fixes everything. You become nimitta, we become nimitta, everybody become nimitta. Then now you can understand, you may ask the question, oh, it's what fatalism is. Is Bhagavan is, playing drama, we become puppets. It means we need not to think anything. There we commit mistake. We are given a limited thinking. With that limited thinking we can select. With the understanding we are not able to select, because when you understand we are limited, that time you are preparing yourself to accept which cannot be changed. You are limited. Everything out of your control, including your breath, blood circulation, lungs function, everything is out of control. You are not controlling it. No, that's because of my karma pala. Yes, of course, my dear, that's because of your karma pala. It means what? Your karma pala terrifies you. It means you are not able to face your karma pala. Sometimes you become happy, sometimes you become down, and sometimes you become so sad, sometimes you are lost, sometimes you are more consciousness. To become more conscious. So that's what, life, we have to be trained, the knowledge of Shastra, which helps to have a proper perception, proper understanding about every aspect of our life. Nobody will help for this understanding, only Shastra. Now he says, nimitta matram bhava. That's a great education for a devotee, for a person who wants to understand the life. Nimitta matram. I am just nimitta. That attitudinal change, which we were discussing in the last two chapters, not last two sessions. Then we discussed about If I think I'm not the doer, the God becomes doer, he becomes samsari, sufferer, I'm not the sufferer, then I should experience my freedom. I should be a Jivan Mukta, a liberated one, but the experience goes against that I only suffer. He is free. Then also it becomes, the God should learn all the rules and regulations, all these things. I gave one session completely. All the conflict and contradiction, how to be handled with this surrendering. When you surrender, so your mind will bug, your buddhi will bug, If you are surrendering, okay, with the understanding everything is nothing but Ishvara. But if you surrender, after the surrendering, you should feel free. You should be muktaha, jivan muktaha. So why the hell we feel all bandhaha, means limitations. Limitations means all bondage. That's what the third understanding also we should undergo in the form of realization of Ishvarupa Darshan. So when you are able to accept the time principle is also Bhagavan's glory, at that time you can use your free will. You can deny this concept, you can accept it, at the same time you can also analyze it. You may not ready to accept now, but you can analyze by using your free will. Still you have the free will. I have already told, Vishwarupa Darshanam is not like, Bhagavan with thousands of head and thousands of hand hanging like, he's not that octopus. It's a complete understanding of our buddhi. Please understand, all of you. Bhagavan is everything. The gap between this camera and me, I'm just talking to the camera. But my real understanding, I'm not talking to the camera, I'm talking to everybody, one who is able to watch. So I bless every time, when I begin, that blessing is very real. So that I'm connected with the consciousness of yours. I'm not connected with the device, but the device which is nothing but Ishvara. So Venkateshwara becomes a big communicator. He becomes a big, communication equipments, communication skill, communication source. He becomes the source of communications and the connections. Now the book and my body, the camera and your body, your sharira, everything is aligned with God's order. That alignment, the surrendering means what? You are just, withdrawing your ahankara and mamakara which you have put forth with Ishvara's srishti. You thought you were making everything. It means what? You are proclaiming yourself the job which is done by God. You are proclaiming you are the owner for that job. He is the creator. He is the sustainator. He is the substratum in whom everything is going to be dissolved. That understanding. When you surrender, you are aligning yourself with God's order. That's what is known as Sharanagati. That Sharanagati means, it's not, people understand Sharanagati means you have to remove your brain and you give it to somebody else. Sharanagati means still you have to make the decision. After surrendering, you continue to make the decisions, but that decision will be different. When you think the decision, the decision will come from Ishvara. Because he is connected with all the object, but we have not understood till the Bhagavad Gita began. After study of Bhagavad Gita, you are very much aware, because every object is endowed with consciousness. They can listen, they can even think, because so all these objects are nothing but the body of Ishvara. The world is nothing but the embodiment of Ishvara. That is the acceptance. That realization will help you to surrender properly. The surrender is the magic. The 11th chapter will help you to surrender. Whole 10 chapters, from the beginning. I even include the first chapter. That first chapter will help us to understand the noble mind, how it brings all the problem. From first to 10th chapter we were prepared. The finally, after having Vishwarupa Darshan, you have to surrender, nothing to hold in this world. Your body is not belonging to you. What do you talk about another object which you earn through effort and so-called money? What is money? Money is nothing but the creation, manifestation of the God. So when you think that this money is mine, so I have bank balance, that's a number. That's, you need to buy an object what requires. When the needy takes place, you should have the money to buy it. That's also grace of Ishvara. Now this surrendering should take place. That Sharanagati is the most great job by our Purushartha, free will. That Sharanagati is the third phase of the mind of Arjuna. Now the Arjuna's mind should adapt this Sharanagati. That Sharanagati means it's a kind of it's a abhyasa, training. You have to surrender yourself, because in all places, when you look at the world, your ahankara comes, your mamakara comes. The same ahankara separates world and me. Therefore, it creates a kind of fear, a kind of confidence. It constructs even confident, that fake confident. By having the ahankara, now this fake confidence that I am the Samrat will be broken. Fake construction, which is known as confident, was constructed by Ravaneshwara, Hiranyakashipu, and Mahishashura and Banashura. So many demons, they were just, they started believing, so their ability is to create the world. Now you have to surrender, like Prahlada. So God is everywhere. God is nothing but the world. That's surrendering. So when you surrender your ahankara, there you are removing the source, that which divide you and world, you and God. So when you remove the ahankara by surrendering, it's not, ahankara cannot be removed, but when you surrender, ahankara becomes silent. When ahankara becomes silent, the mamakara also becomes silent. The mind won't lose anything, but you can see the benefit. And Sharanagati is the last portion of 11th. Then Arjuna's mind becomes so flourished, bloomed. Now he could feel, he could experience, he could see the different world, all about. That we will experience and learn from next session tomorrow. Harihi Om. With the blessings of Venkateshwara, definitely we will assimilate these things. See you tomorrow. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.